Now, we do have Mike up on the Tower of Terror balcony with a live video to take us into the land. Everyone, hey Mike, can you see us?
Hey Mike.
Everybody wave to Mike. He's over to the east. Hey Mike. So Mike, can you take us into the land? Let's start with the cozy cones. You will pull back. You don't get more updated than this. There they are. So we've got 3 cones framed out. Sally will have her office in front. So you'll be able to walk up to these cones, order your food, and then sit and enjoy in this beautiful courtyard that's being formed by the cones. So now let's just pan a little bit over to the, yep, perfect. There's it's the Radiator Springs Curio Shop. You can see, hopefully in the sun, it's all covered in brick, sort of aged brick, and it's just a gorgeous little shop. And then if you tilt up, Mike, there we go. There's a frame for Flo's V8 Cafe, so that one day soon will look like a giant air filter. One thing about Carsland, and not just the buildings, but also in the rock, you might start to see some hints at car shapes like hood ornaments, wheel wells, grills, and the architecture is the same way. So this is a great big air filter one of these days. Keep on going, Mike, and we'll look at, there's Luigi's Flying Tires, Luigi's Casa de la Tires building. You can see the tire finials on the top, all out of plaster. And then back behind that is the play floor. And if we just tilt up a little bit, you can see that sort of scooped shape. That is Ramon's House of Body Art buildings. That's our merchandise location. This little Radiator Springs downtown is the scale is just so wonderful. We were walking through it last night, and right here we're at the 4 corners, where all the commerce is happening. We'll have the telephone poles lining the street. We'll have the blinking light, stoplight overhead that's always on
you
yellow.
Are there.
And at night, it will be all covered in neon, just like it is in the movie. So it is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous land at night. Mm-hmm. But we also cannot ignore this giant mountain we've got here, this ornament valley that we're building. It's about 6 acres of hand-sculpted rock. That's what those little guys are doing up there, is they're sculpting and painting our rocks. So they're real artisans from around the world.
They are. So now we'll take you to Radiator Springs Racers. And I have to say, I've worked on a lot of projects. I'm so excited about it. This is amazing. It's huge. Out of the 12-acre cars land that we're building, 6 acres, as Kathy said, encompasses Radiator Springs Racers. It's going to be amazing. And so, Mike, if you can take us down to that view of the wheel well area. We learned in the film, in the bonus material of the DVD, John Lasseter tells the story about Stanley, and Stanley was the founder of Radiator Springs. And if you could just stop in that shot, that'd be wonderful. And so, as far as the story went, Stanley founded a radiator cap business when he blew his radiator cap and he found the natural spring, nature's coolant. And so, what we got to do as Imagineers is to continue on with that storytelling. We wanted to create a beautiful little shaded, water-filled area where you're going to wait in line to get on this attraction. And we've turned it into Stanley's Oasis. And this is the original settlement of Radiator Springs before the town grew out. And the settlement started with the radiator cap shop, which you'll queue through, and it goes to a service station which Stanley built. And in those days, when you changed oil, you used glass bottles. And so Stanley saved up all the glass bottles, and being the showman he was, as well as a great service technician, he built a bottle house. And so we created a roadside attraction at Route 66. That became so popular, he established the Cozy Caverns Motor Court, which is just inside that wheel well you see on the frame. And so that's where you're going to load onto a 6-passenger car character vehicle and begin this rollicking road trip through the countryside of Ornament Valley. And what's wonderful about that is it's the same, very similar road trip to what Lightning and Sally did in the film, where they go through this great archway and there's a reveal of this beautiful, glorious waterfall coming down, and you get a great view over Cars Land before you go inside the rock there. And you have an encounter with your favorite car characters from the film, beginning with Mac and several others. And I'm not going to give away the whole thing. You're going to have to come back and see it. We have lots of fun secrets in that. But one of the great moments is Mike.
Thanks,
I think
Mike.
we're trying. Thanks, Mike. I think. Bye, Mike. so the first moment is. Sheriff will come out, you're speeding through the countryside, and he pulls you over. He says, "You're not racing yet. Follow Mater into town, and we'll get you ready." Well, here comes Mater, and he does what he does best, is he drives backwards, and you're following him forwards as he's inviting you to do his favorite thing, a little side trip, tractor tipping. But what happens there is you wake up Frank, and Frank chases you into town, and you go to the town of Radiator Springs, where all of the residents welcome you. And we have Sally, the mayor, and Lightning welcome you to town. And Lightning will say something like, you know, it takes more than speed to win a race. You have to have style, ka-chow. So he invites us to either go into Luigi's and have a tire change, go into Ramon's, have a little paint touch-up. From there, we go into where we meet Doc Hudson, who's our crew chief, just like he was with Lightning McQueen in the film. And we and then we go out to where we see Luigi and Guido at the start of the race with the flag. And this is where we learn we're going to race against another vehicle, another car filled with guests, just like you, just like ourselves. And so Luigi drops the flag, and we head outside. And we did, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, last summer we did a test. Some of you might know this, but we built one of our vehicles and we put it on a track out here on site and took it around for many, many weeks just to check it out. And of course, we couldn't do that without riding it. And we rode it, and we can show you firsthand, it is fun. This race is really going to be a good one. So there's our vehicle. Each vehicle will look like it comes from the movie. It's going to look like it lives in the world. It's got a smile on its face and eyes in the windshield. It looks like a giant slot car. It's really a big slot car race. And the G-forces you get as you make these banking turns, and we have a lot of elevation changes, and all the time you're racing another car. It is really, really going to be exciting and fun. We were thrilled with it.
That Camelback hump you just saw, it is a blast. And then you go digging around the corner at Willie's Butte there, and you dive down the other side, heading back into the building where we actually have a really wonderful part of Ornament Valley, which is a natural wonder called Taillight Caverns. And Taillight Caverns is not filled with stalagmites and stalagmites, or it is filled with stalagmites.
Yeah.
It's filled with stalagmites, which are designed in the style of old 50s style cars. And in that scene, you come back from the race, we're going to create different ride profiles so that you will cross the finish line at different times, so you may get a different one each time you go. But when you come back into Taillight Caverns, you're welcomed back by Lightning and Mater. Well, that sounds like Mater now. Here he comes, one of the residents of Radiator Springs, the one and only Mater!
Coming through! Excuse me! Coming through! Excuse me!
Hey, Mater!
Hey, buddy.
All right, Mater, you've been tipping tractors, and we've been building Cars Land.
Well, that sounds like fun, too. Exactly what I was thinking.
And you know, Mater, we can't wait for 2012 when we get to open Cars Land. But you know, in the meantime, thanks for dropping by. It's great to see
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
All right, thanks, Mater.
Everybody say goodbye to Mater.
Mater. So we look forward to seeing you again next year when we open up Cars Land. Thank you.
Thank you.